What's going on, everybody? Welcome to West Nale Virus. My name is Caleb Nale, and joining me as always is good friend and family member Josiah West. We got a lot of stuff on the docket for today. We got to talk about Monday Night Football because it's Wednesday. This is 3 days a week, so we got to catch up a little bit. But we have some talking points on Monday Night Football. We got some college football games that happened last night we're going to talk about, and some news that has come out in the college football world that we're going to cover. The Phillies absolutely are wrecking at the plate. We're going to touch on that. And we have some more international soccer news. And the Olympics are getting more and more fun. But first, Josiah, how have you been, man?
I've been pretty good. How have you been? It's only been 2 days, so there hasn't been a lot that's happened in my world. I've had class. I'm in college still, so I've had class. But yeah, not a lot going on in my world, but you?
Oh no, in my world it's been interesting to say the least. If you're a believer in prayer like I am, please pray for my family. That's all. I'll leave it at that. We got some things going on, and but I will say sports is always a great way to keep. It's entertainment, and it keeps you. It can keep you in a good mood, especially if your team's winning. It helps when Fresno State's winning always.
True.
But we're on a bye week this week. So. All right. We're going to start in the NFL. Then we're going to move to college football. We're going to bounce around today. And then we'll finish with international soccer as the U.S. played Ghana. But we're going to start in the NFL today. And Monday Night Football had the Cowboys and the Chargers fighting, literally, before the game.
Yeah.
Austin Eckler, poor Austin Eckler, man. He's a tiny little guy. He's always banged. He's so good. But he always gets banged up, and then he got decked. I forget the guy's name, but he punched him in the helmet, which I never understand. But it was an open hand. I don't understand when football players try to punch each other in the head when they're wearing a helmet. Don't get it. But he got open hand hit in the helmet, knocked off his helmet. And then the Cowboys go on to win that game and beat the Chargers. I had mentioned to you, Josiah, that both of these teams to me seem a little overrated, and Chargers are weird, right? They always are overrated when it comes to hype because they are so athletic. They have the athletes, the skill players, but they never perform well. So in that way, they're overrated. Cowboys are always overrated because there's so many fans and they say they're going to do well and they never do well. Okay, then they play.
Weird. I feel like Chargers and Cowboys have have opposite issues where it's like the Cowboys are crazy hyped up and they have so many fans and they got all the bandwagoners and Dak, Zeke, CD, whatever. And then they just never do anything. Like everyone's like, this is the year the Cowboys make the Super Bowl. No, it's not. We know it's not because it's the Cowboys and they're not going to do that well. But the Chargers, the problem they have is they get hype because they do have good players. But the biggest issue is the hype doesn't do anything because they just don't have any fans. The Chargers fans that don't exist. I know a Chargers fan, and I'm pretty sure he's the only one. I have never met another Chargers fan. Ever.
The lady that they put on the screen twice and now is making her round on the shows is the only Chargers fan I've ever seen. Yeah.
And guess what? She's not really a Chargers fan. She's an ESPN plant, dude. She has been they've taken pictures of her at multiple different football events doing the same kind of crazy stuff. And they she's just a plant. That's all she is.
She was ready for I don't know what she's going to do next, but she was ready for her interview with Pat McAfee. You could tell she's done stuff like this before. Yeah, I believe. So even then, your friend is still the only Charger fan that you know.
Yep, it's the only one I know of. I've never heard of another Chargers fan. The only
Well,
people I've ever heard touting the Chargers are my friend and Austin Eckler on like Twitch or something.
right.
That's it.
Well, I will say about the Chargers, Justin Herbert didn't have a good game at all. He missed guys that were wide open. And I will say both offensive lines look poor in pass pro, but Dak actually had a very good game. And just so everyone knows, and Josiah could vouch for me here, I have not been a fan of Dak this for a lot of the time he's been there. I always thought he's been subpar. Dak was good this game. Justin Herbert was not good at all. The Chargers are going to have to figure things out because he's on his last year of his rookie contract. They have two wide receivers in Keenan Allen, who's old and gets hurt, and Mike Williams, who is constantly hurt. They got to figure things out offensively. And they have a safety. Is it Derwin James, who is supposed to be really good? They need to figure this stuff out. I don't know if it's coaching. They just never have a good coach. The locker room is not good. Do they have a leader in there that you would think Justin Herbert is that guy? I think he probably is. He's just got to make the throws. But they got to figure this stuff out. And the Cowboys, their defense is phenomenal. Offensively, Dak played a good game, but they scored 20 points or so. It's not going to cut it in the NFC when you got to beat the Eagles and the 49ers. But we'll see. Any last thoughts on the game?
No.
Does this win over the Chargers move the Cowboys into your top 10 right now? Top 10 NFL teams?
No.
I was looking, dude. It's tough. We're going to get to our top 10 and we're going to do it in a fun way. But yeah, it was really hard for me. The other thing I want to talk about is this fight because we had this fight. We got Terrell Owens got attacked after a pickup basketball game.
That's right.
The guy tried to run him over with a car.
Yeah, hit him with his car, actually. Didn't just try. He hit him.
And then we also had, I don't know if you saw just in the Liberty Middle Tennessee State game, but the ref got trucked in this game and he lost it on the Liberty player. And
really?
Just got
I didn't see that.
Oh, it's great. If you guys didn't watch it, go check it out. It's actually pretty funny. It's also sad. There was a punt. Liberty punted to Middle Tennessee. The Liberty players grabbed the Middle Tennessee player, tried to pull him into the ball that was just laying on the ground, which you can't do that. They tried to pull him in. Well, this guy grabbed the back of a Liberty player's helmet and started pulling him. And you know the rule. Wherever the head goes, the body goes. So he pulls him, and the ref tries to step in and break up this little scuffle. And the ref gets trucked by the Liberty guy who's falling over because the Middle Tennessee is pulling his helmet. And he gets trucked. He bounces up real quick and, looks so angry and starts yelling. Don't know what he said. Somebody's going to have to slow it down and tell us. But just starts yelling at this Liberty guy. And, he's ticked. But it got me thinking, there's been so many fights this year. These are just 3 examples that happened in the past 2 days. So many fights. Why are there so many fights this year? My thought process behind this is, okay, I'm thinking the world is all crazy right now, but it's the way that we've been raised in society today. So mentally soft. They're so mentally soft. People can't handle smack talk or losing these days. And we got to figure it out. You have to understand, look, I don't know if people don't have siblings or what, but if you don't have siblings, you don't understand. But most people have siblings. People are always trying to push each other buttons. And the problem with when siblings do it, there's actually a little bit of truth behind it. And that's how they really get to you. On the football field, on the basketball court, there's almost no truth behind it. Right. But you're just trying.
They're just saying, oh, you suck. I'm better than you. Oh, you suck. I'm better than you. Okay. Well, first of all, these are the 2 things you should be thinking about when someone says that is 1, Is that true? If it is, then whatever. Just you're gonna have to try harder than him. And if it isn't, then whatever. He's just lying. It doesn't mean anything. So look, don't get mad about when people trash talk. There's no reason, because those are the only two options. It's either it's true and whatever, or it's not true and even more whatever. Like, there's
It's
no
not,
reason to care.
and I was thinking about back in the day, there were a lot of fights back in the day as well. But back in the day, they were allowed to almost kill each other on the field or on the court. And then so they were fighting, defending themselves. Now it has become so soft everywhere in the game, and we're still trying to fight. People are so
Yeah,
much.
that's the thing is like, dude, you do the too little celebration, you get fined $11,000. Like you do like Tyreek Hill puts up the deuces when he's running by a guy, gets fined. You
Doesn't
do
wear socks.
anything, you get
Doesn't
fined.
wear
It's so stupid. It doesn't make any sense. The game has been watered down to a point of like, okay, look, I'm all about like making it safer, right? Like the targeting, the safety of like targeting and stuff. Yeah, no, for sure. Take that seriously. Taunting? I don't
Look,
care.
if you can't catch Tyreek Hill should be able to put up the peace sign, the deuces.
Yeah, look, as long as they're not going after your family or something like that, then I can see why you'd attack them. But
Well, that might be
like if
he might have said something about his mama. Who knows?
Who knows? But that being said, if that's brought into the equation, I get getting mad about it. But if that's not brought into the equation, it doesn't matter. And the only time the play should be stopped is like a threat.
Right. I'll say this about the fight, in any fight. Just let them fight. They should just let them beat the crap out of each other. One, it's more entertaining. That's going to sell tickets. That's going to make you money. Whatever organization is, that's what they want, right? Basketball court, yeah. I mean, guys are going to beat each other, maybe to death, but you'll have to step in then. But just let them fight.
If it gets too crazy, definitely step in.
But yeah, baseball isn't fun anymore because when the bench is clear,
let it go for a second.
Yeah, let it go. Let them beat each other up. I mean, oh gosh, then they'll really not want to fight, and they'll quit wasting my mind. I mean, wasting my time. Last thing on the NFL: Julio Jones to the Eagles. How about that, Josiah? Your old Falcon is going to the Eagles. He's going to team up with AJ Brown, two big bodies. We'll see if Julio Jones still has it. But I like it. I like the move. They need that. They need another weapon because we saw their offense struggle, granted, against a very good defense in the Jets. But they need another weapon. And they're going to be deadly now. So any thoughts, Josiah, on Julio Jones going to the Eagles?
I was surprised by this because I don't think it's necessary, but it's great. I think it'll be really cool to watch him line up on the other side of AJ Brown. That's two really good wide receivers for Jalen Hurts to throw to.
Smith.
And they have Devontae Smith. Yeah, they're stacked at wide receiver right now. They have. I'm gonna go out on a limb. That's not a very. It's not a very long limb, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the Eagles have the best receiving core in the NFL right now after this signing.
No,
and
yeah, that's a thin limb, not a sturdy limb. It's a limp limb.
To be fair, I maybe shouldn't say that, but I've said it. But maybe I shouldn't because Julio, he's older. He's no longer Julio. He's still a really good player and still a really good wide receiver. You throw him the ball, he's going to catch it. It's not if they use him
Hopefully.
right, this Eagles offense will be deadly. So
100%. I agree. All right, Josiah, we're going to get to our NFL power rankings right now. We're going to go one at a time. I'm going to take the first one, best team in the NFL. Then you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, back and forth. Okay?
all right.
Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
the list is going to be both of ours, basically. And
Right.
number one right now, I think you easily put the 49ers at number one. I don't think there's any question that the 49ers are the best team in the NFL. Look, I know they lost their last game, but even if you lose in the NFL, it's not like college football where you lose and you move down. Uh, I think the 49ers are number one. Who are you going to put at number two?
At number 2, in my eyes, I have 2 options. I may be writing off another option that I shouldn't be, but I'm going to go ahead and take the easy answer and just say the Chiefs at number 2. They're a very
Really?
good team. Yeah, they're a very good
Okay.
team. They
And they
have,
struggled.
obviously, they have, but I trust that they'll bring it together as the year goes on.
Mhm.
This might not be the best pick for number 2, but I think it's an easy pick. So I'm gonna go with the Chiefs for number 2.
All right. Well, then I will take, you know, I'm still going to, you know what? No, I'm going to cause some controversy right now. I'm going with the Lions at number 3 over the Eagles. I'm thinking between the Lions and Eagles. I'm going with the Lions. They've been consistent. I like their coaching staff. Not to say I don't like the coaching staff at the Eagles, but the Lions, they just play with that grit and recency bias. I know the 49ers lost. I still rank them one. And the Eagles were the only undefeated team. They didn't really play anybody up to that point before the Jets. So I'm going to take the Lions, and they have a win over the Chiefs. So Lions at 3.
Interesting. I'm not a huge fan of the Lions. But given that they lost to the Seahawks and have not beat anyone except the Chiefs, but that's fair. They did beat the Chiefs. My number 4 is gonna go. I'm gonna go to the. Sorry, Dolphins, but I'm gonna go to the Eagles. The Dolphins are good, but to me, the Eagles have it.
They're a more
Have a
balanced
more,
team.
yeah, a more balanced, more well-rounded team. The Dolphins, they obviously put up, was it 80 points or something against
70 years. Yeah.
against 70
The
points against the
Broncos.
Broncos, yeah. And it was that was a bad game, right? But it was the Broncos, so not that surprising. I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
Yeah, and I'll take the Dolphins next. Their offense is so good. I mean, Tyreek Hill could reach 2,000 yards. That top 5, I think, could honestly be a coin flip. You have 49ers, Chiefs, Lions, Eagles, Dolphins. I think those are, and they're all 5-1. They're all one-loss teams. Though those teams are a lot of fun to watch, and I hope we see the Lions and the Dolphins continue to win. We need some new blood in there, and I think they're fun stories. I like the coaching staffs, the quarterbacks there, the players on the Lions and Dolphins. So there's your top 5: 49ers, Chiefs, Lions, Eagles, Dolphins. All right, Josiah. Now it gets a little bit tougher. At number 6, where are you going to go?
There's one team I really want to put on here, but I'm not going to unless they're still around at number 10. Probably. Well, that's not true. It'll be before then. But right now, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. I think they have an amazing offense. Their defense is good enough, and they've dropped 2 games. They lost to the Jets and the Jaguars, but the Jets, they are a surprisingly solid team.
They are.
Their defense is really good. They made the Chiefs look bad. They made the Eagles look bad, and they made the Bills look bad,
They made
all on
they made
offense.
everyone look bad.
Yeah, and that is a really good defense to, like, if you're gonna lose one, it's gonna be to them. And then they lost them to the Jaguars, who's also just a really good team. So I'm gonna go with the Bills. I don't think those things detract from them too much, and they still have an amazing offense and pretty good defense.
Yeah, I think the Bills on a good day are better than the Jaguars, but I'm surprised you put them ahead of them just based off the loss. So at number 7, I'm going to put the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence is very good. They have a lot of weapons there. They beat the Bills, but I mean the Jags could be a very good team. We talked about earlier in the season, if I should say last week, Anthony Richardson's out, kid Gardner Minshew lead the Colts to win that division. We said, yeah, they could. Take it back. They're not winning the division. The Jaguars are going to win that division easily. Well, the Texans might have something to say about that, but I'm going with Jaguars at number 7. Who you got at 8?
Yeah, I understand that. That was a tough pick for sure. At number 8, this is where I'm going to put the team I wanted to put higher, but I didn't feel justified in doing it. The Baltimore Ravens. They're a very good team. They have very good defense, and they have a really good quarterback who hasn't been performing to the level he usually does. Hopefully he can turn.
Go ahead.
What are you saying?
It's hard for me to get on the bandwagon for the Ravens right now. It's tough. With Lamar Jackson not playing at his best over the past couple weeks. Last week wasn't bad, but I think they are deserving of top 10. But it's I mean, there's a lot of teams that are when it gets to this 7, 8, 9 range, it's tough.
Yeah. It is for sure. And the Baltimore Ravens, yeah, I agree. Lamar Jackson's been struggling. It's hard to get on the bandwagon because of that. But at the same time, putting them at number 8, I don't think it's outlandish. They're a good team, and if Lamar Jackson can do anything, they have a shot at to go pretty far in the playoffs. So
right. At number 9, I'm putting the Jets. The Jets defense will keep them in every game. We talked about it. Zach Wilson just has to do enough, score 20 points and you win. At that's all you guys score 3 touchdowns. And with a good receiving core and some good running backs, I mean, their O-line is terrible. But if you can survive and just do enough, the Jets will win football games and they'll beat very good teams. Now, Josiah, at number 10, you have quite the task here. I mean, I think you had the Cowboys at 4-2, but you said no, they're not there. You have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers who have looked good. You have the Seattle Seahawks who have looked good. Where are you going to go? I mean, you have the Colts and the Texans who are at 3-3, and I think the Texans have looked decent. Where are you going to go with this at number 10?
Well, it is hard. I will tell you that. But
and also the Rams.
That's true. But I'll tell you where I'm not going. I'm not going to the Cowboys. I said no to them already, and I'm going to say no to them again. 42-10 loss and a 30-10 loss and a 40-0 loss.
Yeah.
You're not getting any top 10 lists with that. Not for me anyway. My number 10 team is the Champion Killers, the team who beat our number 1 team, the Cleveland Browns. Number 10, Cleveland Browns. 1917 beat the 49ers. They have 2 losses, a pretty bad loss to the Ravens and a really close loss to the Steelers, but they beat the Bengals and Titans. They have a good team, very solid team. Deshaun Watson has been out, and
their defense has stepped up. Number 1 defense in the league.
And their defense has stepped up. Amari Cooper has been out. Hasn't mattered. Nick Chubb went out. hasn't mattered. They're doing really well despite missing like all their best offensive pieces. So, number 10, Cleveland Browns.
Love it. I actually really like that pick. All right, that does it for the NFL. Our power rankings, the top 10, we have the 49ers at 1, then Chiefs, Lions, Eagles, Dolphins, Bills, Jaguars, Ravens, Jets, Browns. You let us know what you think about our list and tell us about your list. We want to hear from you. All right, let's move to college football. Yesterday, there was slate of games. Okay, I'm waiting.
Before we move to the college football, I have one thing to bring up about the NFL.
Okay.
About the 49ers. Brock Purdy. We talked about this on Monday. We talked about Brock Purdy on Monday, and I was coming to his defense. And I think he's a great quarterback. I don't think anyone should be, against him being the starting quarterback for the 49ers. I think he's starting quarterback level. And ESPN has released an article that not only supports my position, but makes me look like a genius. So
this is all Josiah with a big head.
Okay, well, yeah, maybe I'm going a little hard, but anyways, right now, Brock Purdy has the highest QB rating of any quarterback in the NFL, any starting quarterback in the NFL, and there are only 3 quarterbacks in the starting quarterbacks. Let me say that again. Starting quarterbacks. There are only 3 starting quarterbacks in the NFL that it would take them more than 10 games to match or beat Brock Purdy's total year's salary.
Right.
So what I'm saying is Brock Purdy is not getting paid enough to do the amazing job he's already been doing. Joshua Dobbs makes more than him. Mac Jones, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Baker Mayfield, Trevor Lawrence, Tua, Jordan Loves, all those guys could beat his year's salary in somewhere in between 1 and 10 games. Every other starting quarterback except Kenny Pickett, Desmond Ridder, and Sam Howell, those guys have close to his salary. Every other starting quarterback in the NFL makes more money than he will this year in 1 game. They make more money every week than he will all year, and he has a better quarterback rating than any single one of them. Any one of them. Mm-hmm. I think the closest right now is like Josh Allen. Or no, Patrick Mahomes. Okay. It's Patrick Mahomes. 72.6 QB rating. Brock Purdy is a 76.9. Oh, no, it was Josh Allen. 75.1. Yeah, okay, There you go. Yeah, so...
No, the 49ers are in win now mode. Because they have to win now because next year they're going to have to pay Brock Purdy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And in other places.
Yeah. So they need to get rid of Jimmy G, but anyway.
They did
get rid of Jimmy G. What am I talking about?
Everyone forgot about him because he went to the
right. Yeah, the Raiders need to get rid of Jimmy G now. Everybody should get rid of Jimmy G. Jimmy G's a bad quarterback.
I think the second that you date a porn star, it's just going to go downhill. It's just what's going to happen, man. I think it's a good point. Brock Purdy's been great. I really like watching Brock Purdy. All right, now let's move to college football. So we had a couple games yesterday. Liberty played Middle Tennessee State, won that game, close game, 42-35. So I hope you took the over on that. Liberty improves to 7-0. We'll see if they get ranked. And let me just tell you some stats. Kadon Salter is their quarterback. He threw for 140 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception, and he led the team in rush yards with 160 yards. He averaged 10 yards a carry. Their running back, Quentin Cooley, has incredible balance. I think he takes ballet classes. He was very good. He ran for 134 yards and 3 touchdowns. the team, the Liberty
Dang.
Flames, total ran for 401 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground. They went nuts,
Gosh.
but their defense could not figure out Middle Tennessee. Eventually, they did. They forced enough turnovers. They had 2 interceptions. I believe they forced one fumble, and they ended up winning that game. But Josiah, you and I talked about Liberty. Could Liberty be the Group of 5 team representing the G5 in a New Year's Six Bowl? After watching this game, I don't think they can. Middle Tennessee, to be fair, is a good offensive team, but Liberty showed all their weaknesses this game, and it's going to be tough for them to win out. But we talked, their schedule is not that great. They could do it, but after this game, I just don't see Liberty going undefeated. They're going to drop a game somewhere.
I don't think I agree with the fact that they will drop a game because they don't play anybody. They don't play anybody at all. They play Western Kentucky next week, and that's their hardest game left. I mean, they play La Tech, Old Dominion, UMass, and UTEP. UTEP is terrible. They're 2-5. UMass is
They're
1-7. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're terrible. Old Dominion is 3-3, so they're okay, but they're not that great. They're 3-3 against mostly bad opponents. Well, I shouldn't say that. Marshall, Wake Forest, and Virginia Tech are okay losses, but still, Liberty should beat the rest of the teams on their schedule. They should go undefeated, and they should go to a New Year's Six Bowl, because when you're undefeated, you go to a New Year's Six Bowl, and that's how that works.
I hope not, dude.
I don't know. They will get blown out of the water if they go to a New Year's Six Bowl. They will get absolutely demolished by, Oregon or somebody. It's going to be Liberty against Michigan or Ohio State or Penn State. And yeah, it's not going to go well at all.
No, this G5 team is fraudulent right now. I hate to say that, but I don't think they're that good of a team. They just played that weak of a schedule.
Yeah, and they have a really, really weak schedule.
And I will say this, Jacksonville State might be the team they run into in the Conference USA Championship, and they lose. Jacksonville State just beat Western Kentucky last night, 20-17. Western Kentucky, they were up in this game. They scored 17 points in the first half, and then they didn't score again in the second half, and they lost 20-17. Western Kentucky, they can beat Liberty because of the offensive weapons that they have and the way that they move the ball through the air. They can expose you, and especially what we saw against Liberty, what Middle Tennessee did to Liberty, Western Kentucky can do that, and they're better at it than Middle Tennessee. But Jacksonville State might actually be the team that wins Conference USA. And if Jacksonville State, I haven't looked it up, but I'm pretty sure this is true, Jacksonville State has the same thing that James Madison has. They can't play in a bowl game this year, which is absolutely terrible. We're going to have two conference champions that aren't going to be able to compete in a bowl game. That's just dumb and blows my mind.
Well, I will say, and you probably already saw it, but Liberty has already played Jacksonville State, and they beat them.
Okay.
But
they can play them again, and I think Jacksonville State.
They can play them again, and it can change a lot. I mean, I know I've seen Georgia play Alabama twice in a season, and we beat them the second time, but not the first time, or the first time, but not the second time. So, yeah, it happens. Yeah, Liberty has a weak schedule. I think they'll go undefeated, and I think they'll go to a big bowl game, and I think they'll probably lose by a lot.
Gosh,
that's
as a G5 fan, that doesn't make me happy. I mean, as someone who watches football and knows football, we can all see it. Liberty's not that team, not that G5 team. I mean, Mountain West.
You shouldn't be almost losing to Middle Tennessee.
Right. All right, and last but not least, in the Sun Belt, we had a Sun Belt game last night. Southern Miss played South Alabama and got absolutely destroyed. I turned this game off, flipped it over to a different one. 55-3, South Alabama wins. At halftime, here's a fun stat for you in this game. At halftime, Frank Gore Jr., who is the running back for Southern Miss, had 21 rush yards out of Southern Miss's 12 total rush yards.
Oh my gosh.
Let me say that again. Frank Gore Jr. had 21 total rush yards out of Southern Miss's 12 total first half rush yards.
Wait, what?
Frank Gore Jr. had 21 rushing yards out of the total team's rushing yards in the first half of 12.
That's crazy.
That's how bad.
How many sacks did they take?
Oh, man.
3. What in the world? Man, Southern Miss, they aren't doing very good. I'll tell you that much. South Alabama absolutely demolished them. South Alabama is actually a pretty strong group of 5 school, and they have been for a couple years. They've lost to 3 teams so far, but they're all respectable teams. Tulane, Central Michigan, and James Madison. All of their other games looked like that Southern Miss game. They won 55-3, 55-7, 33-7, 35-17. None of them are close games. South Alabama, yeah, they can score points. South Alabama's a good team. Look out for them in a bowl game. It probably won't be a very big bowl game, but watch it because it should be fun to watch.
Yeah. All right, just catching up on standings in that Conference USA. We talked about Liberty. Jacksonville State is second in Conference USA, so right now it's looking like it's going to be Liberty Jacksonville State in the Conference USA Championship if all things go according to plan. And then in the Sun Belt, it's time for Josiah to wake up again. In the Sun Belt,
I've got to turn that thing off.
Yeah, in the Sun Belt, Southern Miss is down at the bottom, and South Alabama is working their way up in the Sun Belt West because they still have divisions over there. So Sun Belt should be fun conference to watch. Last but not least, I want to talk about the games today in college football. We have 2 tonight. Florida International plays Sam Houston. Sam Houston's looking for their first win. So if you're a Mountain West fan like me, you know, Nevada hasn't won a game. Well, neither has Sam Houston. So those are the 2 bottom feeders in the nation right now. Then later on tonight, we have New Mexico State and UTEP against Conference USA. Neither game really, Josiah, am I looking forward to? I guess if I'm going to watch one thing, I'm looking to see if Sam Houston can get a win. I think it's possible. FIU is bad. They're 0-4 in Conference USA play. They have won 3 games, but they look bad. I think this is Sam Houston's best chance to get their first win. Sam Houston is favored by 5 in this game.
Yeah, Sam Houston has a chance here. I would love to see them get their first win, make Nevada the only no-win team in the country, at least for Nevada. Anyways, at least for a few days. I'm not sure who Nevada. I'm not sure who the Wildcats. Is it the Wildcats? Is that their mascot? I don't even know. Nevada. Anyways, whoever they play, if they can beat them, then there will be no winless teams left. But hopefully Sam Houston can win tonight. So
yeah, and then New Mexico State UTEP it should be a close game, but I don't know. Nevada plays San Diego State, and San Diego State is 13.5 point favorite. But I think this is a game that Nevada could actually hang in there and play and compete. So I don't think I would take Nevada plus 13.5. Just for everyone that's wondering, if anybody wants to watch the bottom feeders play this weekend. Friday we will talk about.
Maybe some people are into that.
Yeah, Friday we'll get to our preview for all the big games. That's what we're gonna do on Fridays. But Josiah, there's 2 things I want to talk about. First, we're going to talk about Caleb Williams. Then we're going to get to which one-loss team has the best chance to make college football playoff. But Caleb Williams came out, or it's rumored to be that he said he wants part ownership in the team that drafts him. Do you think that is warranted, or do you think that Caleb Williams is a spoiled, rotten brat like I do and should have never said anything like that? And he may not have. I don't know. It's just rumored that that was said. But I couldn't believe it when I found this out. What are your opinions on this?
Well, if it's true, then I think that he might just be a little delusional. It's
He painted his nails one too many times.
I mean, look, seriously, like you're free to ask for whatever you want. I understand wanting that, right? Like if you're a really high draft pick and you think you can get that, ask for it, I guess. But don't ask for it because you're not going to get it and it's just going to make you look bad. No one's going to give him that unless they truly have like they are a real poverty franchise and you don't want part ownership in that. And the other thing is then if you want to move to another team, then you're going to be playing against your own team. I'm not even sure if that should be like legal. Like that's a very weird situation. And I don't love
sell it.
that. Yeah, true. But I don't love that he asked for that if he did. Big if there because we don't know.
Right. Well, I was always told, and working in the food industry, we got this a lot. It doesn't hurt to ask, right? That's the saying. It doesn't hurt to ask. Yeah. So people would come up to us and ask for things, and if we didn't offer it, we didn't offer it. If we could make room for something or help them out, we would do it as well because we want to make our customers happy and proud of of the product we put out. So it doesn't hurt for Caleb Williams to ask, in some sense. But for ownership, it doesn't. I should say it doesn't help to ask teams to like, hey, don't draft. I mean, it does help. It doesn't hurt to ask teams, don't draft me. Can you please? Would you be willing to skip on me because I don't want to play for you? That's fine, or vice versa. Asking for ownership is a completely different story, and I think it really hurts what owners are going to think of him. Why would I want this guy on my team? He is going to have to be the next Patrick Mahomes. And I will say this, he does look like Patrick Mahomes. He looks very good. But is it worth it? Especially in the quarterback class that's coming out this year. If you don't come out this year, is there going to be room? You have Drake May, Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr. I mean, Cam Ward from Washington State looks really good. You got all and by the way, DJU at Oregon State is putting up good numbers. He's having probably the best year of his career, and no one's talking about him because he's playing on a Western Pacific time zone school, which really ticks me off. If he was at Clemson doing this, they'd be, oh my gosh, all over DJU, but they're not. Anyways, I digress.
The cultural, when he moved out west, everyone forgot about him.
Yeah, exactly. Caleb Williams should not have done this. If I'm an owner, I would try and blacklist him, to be honest. Everyone pass on him. But don't draft him. If he wants to stay for the team that drafted him, no one draft him. Make him go an undrafted free agent. Then you could fight for him. How funny would that be?
I mean, that'll never happen for sure. But I just, to me, you can ask, I guess, but to me, that would be more of a thing that would come up in like contract negotiations or like when you're being scouted by the teams. Like you could say to them, like, hey, I want to see if this is a possibility. Could I get this as part of my contract instead of getting like all just money?
Right, like
Can I say get part ownership in the team? That's fine.
Right, yeah.
But if he just said, well, whoever drafts me better give me part ownership. But see, that's the thing is right now, this is all speculation. We don't know what he said. So I don't want to make any too hard stances on this. But yeah, if he said like, oh, you draft me, you better give me part ownership, then dude, you're just being a diva again.
Right. And he
And
paints his nails, Josiah.
and I just don't know. I don't know why he would say it. But anyways, hopefully
Yeah.
he didn't. Hopefully he didn't. Hopefully it's just a rumor.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes
Very
on that, I
interesting.
guess.
I think people will have different stances on that. Caleb Williams, though, still very good player. All right, Josiah, which one-loss team in college football has the best chance to make the college football playoff? Is it Alabama? Is it Oregon? I mean, no one in the Big Ten has lost yet, but they're all going to play each other, but they're not technically a one-loss team yet. Which one-loss team do you think has the best chance of going to the college football playoff?
Which one-loss team has the best chance of going to the playoff? Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think you brought up
Or is it
probably
Texas?
the only two options, or Texas. I don't think it's Texas. I do not think it's Texas. I
Hear me
actually
out.
think
Hear me out.
this year,
Go ahead.
I think it's Oregon. I do not think it's Alabama. They lost to a non-conference opponent. They lost to Texas, and then Texas lost. Oregon has only lost to Washington, who's currently undefeated. Right now, I think if Washington stays undefeated, Oregon stays undefeated, and then Oregon can beat Washington in the championship, I think Oregon and Washington both go to the playoff, one Big Ten team and one SEC team. And I think that's who goes to the playoff this year. I mean, either that or they take the conference champion of the Pac-12, a Big Ten team, Oklahoma, and an SEC team. It's going to be one of those two scenarios in my mind. And I don't know which one yet, but I think Oregon definitely has the best chance of the one-loss teams right now.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I totally agree with you. The Pac-12 champ, the SEC champ, and the Big Ten champ are going to the playoff. And
Agreed.
talk about Big Ten really quick. If Iowa can win the Big Ten, they're a one-loss team right now. And if Iowa wins, they're in. I think if they win the Big Ten, they're in. But there's no way Iowa's beating Penn State, Ohio State, or Michigan. But just we're playing a game here.
That'd be fun. It would be a fun thing, unlikely, but fun.
I think
if Oklahoma, if the Big 12 champ stays undefeated, they also go. If they don't stay undefeated, I think a second Pac-12 team goes.
Now, Texas has the win over Alabama. So if Texas wins the Big 12, they have that win over Alabama, then they beat Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship. It's going to be hard to leave them out. But if Washington stays undefeated and Oregon or Oregon State beats them, or USC is still undefeated in the Pac-12. Their one loss is the Notre Dame. I don't think they do, but if that one loss team beats an undefeated Washington in the Pac-12 championship, it's going to be really hard to leave those two teams out of the playoff. That would ruin everything for the playoff.
I agree.
Also, if
Alabama
beats Georgia in the SEC championship, then we have another thing to talk about. And
oh my gosh.
It's going to be wild.
Dude, we could have like 16 one-loss teams competing for a playoff spot. And it's going to be so annoying.
the last thing is Missouri. Missouri might have something to say. Missouri could beat Georgia. Missouri could actually end up winning the East. I don't think they do. But Missouri could end up winning the East, and they have one loss. And then you have a one-loss team playing another one-loss team in the SEC championship. Do you take that winner? It's going to be crazy. But the best one-loss team, or the one-loss team that will make the college football playoff, that has the best chance of making the college football playoff right now, is definitely Oregon. I agree with you. I don't think there's any other take. All right. The NBA starts next week. Josiah, who's going to win it all? I'm going with the Bucks. Giannis, Damian Lillard. I don't think
Cat
anybody's
just
going to
bit
compete.
my foot. Freaking hurt. No, actually, that's a very good pick. I am tempted to go and say I think the Celtics are going to win it again, but
Ooh, I like that. It'd be, and if this is LeBron James last year, does he go on the farewell
does he
tour?
make a yeah.
Does he make a run?
That's true. That's true. I'm gonna go with a repeat of the Celtics, and I would like to add a caveat that I'm not cheering for the Celtics. That's just
Well, the
my
Nuggets
pick.
won last year.
Yeah. Yes, but the Celtics won 2 years ago, right?
I don't remember.
I can't remember. Guys, we don't care about the NBA anymore. I'm be honest with you, but if
I like
if I
certain
had
players.
to cheer for a team, if I had to cheer for a team, I'd be cheering for the Bucks because of Giannis, the Hawks because I'm in Georgia, or
Jokic.
Jokic. Yeah, Jokic is he's pretty fun. I like Jokic. So yeah, I'm good with
Even
the
though he's a
Nuggets
Serb,
repeating too.
we'll cheer for him.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I like the Nuggets and the Bucks for sure. One of those two teams. All right, that's all we're not gonna break down any NBA stuff right now. Let's get to the playoffs. Phillies destroyed the Diamondbacks 10-0 last night. Wrecked them. And
Dude.
Kyle Schwarber hit 2 home runs. Trey Turner hit a home run. Castellanos had an RBI. I think he had a sac fly. Marsh had these guys hit like none other. And I should mention, Aaron Nola got the start. He went 6 innings, gave up 3 hits, no earned runs, 7 Ks, no walks. So we could talk about Phillies hitting all we want, but the Phillies pitching has been phenomenal as well.
Dude, the Phillies across the board have been insane. This is one of those runs that if they could play like this all the time, they would never lose a game.
Oh, they may not. Oh, well, the World Series is going to be so fun because the Texas Rangers are up 2-0 on the Astros, and they won both games in Houston. It's not really it is an away game, but they're both Texas teams. But the Rangers are built very much like the Phillies. They can hit the ball like crazy. They have a good pitching staff. Now, I believe the Phillies pitching staff is better, but both of these teams are built for the World Series, built for the postseason. Both have great managers. Bruce Bochy might have the leg up there. This World Series, it's not the two biggest names. I mean, Philadelphia sports is huge. So the Phillies the fans are unbelievable. But it's not two big brands, I should say. But these are the two best teams in baseball right now. And I think the viewership could go way up if those two teams make the World Series. People are tired of the Astros. People don't like the Astros. They want to watch something else. And I believe both of these teams basically have it in the bag. The way the Phillies and the Rangers are playing, there's no reason they should lose these series. But the Phillies are definitely the most fun to watch. It's unbelievable. Fun. It's fun.
It's crazy. I mean, yeah. Credit to the Phillies. I'm sad they beat the Braves, but all credit to them. They are playing lights out right now, and if they keep playing like this, they won't lose a game.
I agree. All right, international soccer time. USA had a friendly against Ghana. We talked about the friendly against Germany, Josiah, where we lost 3-1. We were pretty upset about our defense, and even a little bit of our midfield. I mean, everywhere except Christian Pulisic. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
USA plays Ghana in Nashville. First time USA played in Nashville there at that stadium, and they won 4-0. Huge. And all of those goals came before the 40th minute. Within 40 minutes, we scored 4 goals. Gio Reyna in the 10th, Christian Pulisic in the 9th off a penalty kick. Um, Balogun in the 22nd, and Gio Reyna got his brace in the 39th off of an indirect kick inside the box. I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's not a penalty, but there's a little foul. The ball got inside a Ghana player's legs, and he just kind of held it there. And then they got a close kick. So what that means is it's inside the box, but Ghana can line up a wall and do all these things. Well, they did a little tap, boom by Gio. I think it was Pulisic and Weah, or 2 players like kicked it back and forth to each other, and then Gio just ripped it into the top corner. It was a really fun goal. I like that play. And the U.S. looked good defensively. They did make a change. Instead of Scaly, they I forget the name of the guy they put in there. Lund, I believe it was. But they replaced him. They started somebody else. And then they also brought in as a sub Leonard Maloney, who made his debut for the United States. And that put Greg Berhalter as like I want to say the 60 that put sorry, I'm all over the place. Leonard Maloney came in, and that's the 60th player to debut under Berhalter, and that ties with Bob Bradley for the second most debuts in team history. So Berhalter's getting a lot of young guys in and making sure they're playing for the United States. I don't know how much that matters. It does matter, but especially in friendlies, get them playing. But
True.
I don't know. Let's talk about the game, though. Your thoughts on USA against Ghana scoring 4 goals in the first half?
I'm super happy about the result. I do wish we had scored again in the second half. Ghana's not a great team, so we should have won this game. We should have beat them soundly, and we did. And that's really good that we did what we should have done, because we haven't been doing what we should have done. We got up 1-0 on Germany, and then we ended up losing 3-1. That's not what you should do. You shouldn't lose 3-1 when you're up 1-0. That's not how that works. So the fact that we were able to go 4-0, didn't let them score. We played solid defensive ball and still scored. I like that. I wish we had scored in the second half, because as obviously we have issues growing a lead. For instance, against Germany and some other games that have happened in the recent past in big tournaments. Gold Cup is what I'm thinking of specifically.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that our team can't win a lot the way it is, but I don't think we can. I think we're going to need a new coach. I just don't think Berhalter is the right fit. I mean, I know I say it all the time. I do not like Berhalter. I want him out of the management position. I think there are so much better options out there. I don't know why we haven't gone a different direction. And I think it's only a matter of time. I just wish they'd hurry it up before 2026 Olympics rolls around. I mean, World Cup. Sorry, not Olympics.
Well, anyways, we'll get to the Olympics in a sec, but I don't disagree with you about Bob Bradley being I would say, subpar manager. I do think he's helped the United States as a whole, the men's national team as a whole, with getting players in and things like that. But granted, the players have done that themselves. They have put themselves in positions like Gio Reyna, Tyler Adams, who's been out, by the way, and we are missing him a lot. Christian Pulisic. There's a lot of good young players, but can Berhalter put it all together and win. We just haven't seen it yet. They did do it against Ghana, though. I think we did get better. We did miss on a lot of opportunities, though, offensively. We could have scored 8 goals this game. We just didn't put it in the back of the net. Some lack of communication. Some just didn't capitalize on being in front of the goal. I mean, we had chances right in front of the goal, and we couldn't put it in the back of the net. First half and second half. So we got to capitalize on those positions because the good teams are not going to give us those opportunities. And if they do, we have to take advantage of that. So
absolutely
good for the United States. There won't be too much international play going on for a while now, but don't worry. There's plenty of soccer. We have Yeovil Town and our Yeovil Town update today. Not much has gone on game-wise. The next game is the 21st versus Worthing. Yeovil Town is in first place in their league right now, so they will get promoted to the National League if they win. Worthing is in 5th. So this is a big game. We got to win this game. I think we can. The biggest news coming out of Yeovil is Sonny Cox, an 18-year-old, has signed on loan from Exeter City. It's just another young guy. If you don't know what on loan means, we are basically going to pay his wage. He's going to be on payroll and play for us, but we do not own him as a player. So when he's done, and that loan contract is up, he will go back to Exeter City, and then they'll pay him. So
he's only approximately. It's a short-term loan, so he'll only be here till January. I say here, Yeovil, but yeah. We're not very close to Hewish Park, but
yeah. So that's the only news. 21st is the next game, and then they have the first round of the FA Cup coming up next month, which should be fun as well. And last but not least, Josiah, new sports have been added to the 2028 Olympics. Baseball and softball are back. Cricket is being added. Cricket's one of the most watched sports in the world, because I know India, Bangladesh, the UK, they all play cricket. I don't know anything about cricket. I know they have the big stick and they hit a ball around, and sometimes I see guys dive in and make big plays. I don't understand it. I might have to do that now. Lacrosse is in. Squash is in. I don't know if you know what squash is, Josiah, or if you guys listening, it's like racquetball. And very much like racquetball. Not exactly racquetball, but very much like it. And then the big one, in my opinion, flag football. Flag football is going to be joining the Olympics in 2028 when it comes to LA. And Micah Parsons is already starting to put together a team. I think we're going to absolutely dominate. I will say that there will be other countries that are going to be good. They will have really fast players. Depending on the rules, you can have like one guy rushing the passer after 3 Mississippi, and the Dutch are going to have a really good pass rusher because he's going to be about 7'5" with a wingspan of 15 feet. He's going to run at you. So
right,
there will be, but there's no reason why Tyreek Hill shouldn't be on this team, just blowing by everyone.
That's true. Although I will say, I don't think Micah Parsons quite understands the fact that it's going to be flag football. I don't think Micah Parsons will probably end up on the squad. I have a feeling the squad will mostly consist of professional flag football players and not NFL players. Because there is a professional flag football league. Which some NFL players do play in after they retire, such as Ocho Cinco. He did that. And I think we'll probably see more of those players than actual NFL players. But who knows? I mean, it's never a bad idea to get Tyreek Hill on the team. So,
no, I think that your athletes that are going to come play are the DBs and the wide receivers. Maybe, backup or third string quarterback in the NFL will come play.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, because they can read defenses, they know, and there's no one rushing at you, and all you got to do is roll out, and you know exactly what's happening. So, I think United States destroys in flag football. just like they do basketball now. Sometimes, well, now that Joel Embiid is playing for the USA, it's over.
Did you
Not
know
like
that? Did you know that in Olympic basketball, the United States has scored around 70% of all goals scored in the Olympics
goals.
ever? Yeah, baskets. 70% of points scored has been by the U.S.
That's
So the U.S. has not just won most of their games; they have on total beat the rest of the world combined in basketball.
of course,
So,
of course.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense, but
it'll be interesting though. There's some good players out there. 2024, I believe, is this. It's the Summer Olympics in 2024. So we'll see. So. I mean, Jokic on Serbia, but who knows if he plays? Doncic, you have the Giannis brother, the Antetokounmpo brothers, I should say. He probably hates hearing that. The Giannis brothers, terrible. I'd hate to be labeled under my brother's first name. Anyways, all right. That was our fun little segment for today. Let us know your power rankings. Let us know which one-loss team has the best chance to make the college football playoff. And if you have any NBA predictions, let us know. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're off to work. Peace. God bless you guys. Take care.
See ya.